The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting group. Access Fort Wayne is a department of the Allen County Public Library. If you or anyone you know might be interested in making a television show, please call 260-421-1250.
Hi, welcome to the Kachmann Mind Body Show. Today, this will be very interesting, and it's about the liver, the most important organ in our body, and I will review this in detail. The liver, function and disease. It's the largest gland and organ in our body. Yes, it's behind the ribs, the upper right side, almost the entire width of the body. It goes all the way across. It kind of looks like a triangle. It's responsible for hundreds of functions. Most are very complex and active organ in the body. The liver is in charge of processing, converting, distributing, maintaining the body's vital fuel supply. It's our energy source. Our nutrients, our enzymes are made by the liver. And so anything that interferes with these functions must have a detrimental effect on the health of the liver and the body as a whole. The liver is very important. You'll know everything about it. And I have some good news attached to it too. It's the strongest interference stems from the presence of stones in the liver. They can have gallstones that interfere with its function. The liver manufactures cholesterol. That's where our cholesterol is made, yeah. The essential building blocks of organ cells, our cells, you have cholesterol and the covering of it. And our hormones and our bile, that is made by the liver. The liver also produces hormones, proteins that affect the way the body functions. It doesn't make all the proteins in our body, but it makes a great number of them. So it makes new amino acids. Those are the ones that combine to make proteins, and converts existing ones into proteins. So the liver will take a lot of amino acids and combine them to make a protein. And these proteins are the main building blocks of the cells, hormones, neurotransmitters, and genes. You can see how important our liver is. Other functions of the liver include breaking down old, worn-out cells and recycle them as new proteins. Yeah. Blood flows through the liver a quart a minute. Yes, and it takes all those chemicals and breaks them down or builds them into new products. Gallstones are tantamount to being hazardous in the liver. They interfere with function of the liver. So the liver breaks down alcohol in the blood. Yeah, you want to destroy your liver, drink a lot of alcohol. But the good news is that as long as you have 25% of your liver left, it can regenerate to totally normal. Roadie's good news. And the liver also detoxifies noxious substances, bacteria, parasites, and certain threats of all tests, pharmaceuticals, drugs. You take a medication, it's the liver that will eventually break it down. Some better than others. So it converts toxins into substances. The liver can convert toxins that the blood supplies. The liver can break them down and convert these toxins into substances that can be safely removed from the body. Yeah. So the liver is a detoxifier too. The liver filters more, and I mentioned this before, more than a quart of blood each minute. Wow. Yes. So it has tremendous effects on our body. The filtered waste products leave the liver via the bile stream. It works its way into the bowel and the blood, both. So gallstones obstructing the bile ducts lead to high levels of toxicity in the liver and ultimately liver disease. So gallstones are not good for the liver. Also, the liver is aggravated by regular intake of pharmaceutical drugs. All the pharmaceuticals that we take, I take, the only one I take is vitamin M, music, no other pills. But most people are taking 6 or 7 pills, and they have to be detoxified by the liver. Can you imagine if they're drinking quite a bit of alcohol too? The liver has to work on that. So the presence of gallstones prevents detoxification. And alcohol is not properly detoxed in the liver, and it can destroy, if not properly detoxed, can destroy a lot of liver cells. Gallstones distort the structural framework of the liver, okay? And the liver has about 50,000 hepatocytes, cells in them, yes. And isn't that interesting? So prolonged suffocation due to the presence of stones damages the liver cells tremendously. Prolonged suffocation due to the stones eventually destroys the liver cells. The liver's not working right. If the regeneration does not keep up with the destruction, cirrhosis occurs. Yes, liver turns into fiber and you develop cirrhosis. Fatty liver, where a lot of fat accumulates in the liver, is a common but reversible condition where large amounts of triglycerides, fat accumulates in liver cells because of abnormal retention, and the principal cause is bile duct congestion. It's occurring because of that. So a healthy liver removes all excessive fat from the body via the bile ducts. So it's important to have a healthy liver. Non-alcoholic liver disease is important due to buildup of fat within liver cells. At an early age, the liver is unable to break down toxic substances in children, for example, causing gallstones to form. A lot of times that happens even after children receive their first vaccine shot. Inadequate diet, including sugar, fasting junk foods, greatly affects the liver of children. So we have to teach children to eat the right food. If the mother drinks alcohol, smokes, eats junk foods, takes medication during pregnancy, this will have negative effects on the child living in the uterus and will have damage to its liver, and which will manifest itself when the child is born. Isn't that interesting? The environmental working group showed blood samples from newborns revealed there are about 287 toxins there. Yes, we live in a toxic world, so the liver has a lot of work to do. So the human liver, and I will review with you some infograms, okay? First of all, the liver is one of the largest organs in the body. Most people would say it's the largest. And let's review some functions of the liver. Production of bile, okay? Resisting infections. When infections are occurring in the body, the liver has to go to work. Clearance of bilirubin, which comes from the liver. Production of proteins, not all proteins in the body, but many of them. And to store some blood sugar as a glycogen, an emergency supply available to us in case blood sugar goes too low. Glycogen can be released by the liver to raise the blood sugar level and save your life. It's a processor of hemoglobin, hemoglobin, your blood, okay? It makes all the cholesterol in the body. It regulates blood clotting. The liver regulates blood clotting and the clearing of drugs. We already spoke about that. So the liver is one of the, as we mentioned, the largest organ or close to it. And what are symptoms of liver disease? Let's talk about that. Easy bruising, okay? Belly pain, okay? A swollen abdomen and ankle, retention of water. Dark urine, okay? Jaundice, turning yellow. Pale stools. And excessive fatigue. Your liver's not working right. You can be quite fatigued. And what are common liver conditions? Gallstones, primary cirrhosis, where it's not working. Liver failure, chromatosis, cancer, cirrhosis, hepatitis. Those are huge liver conditions. Liver is the only organ that can rebuild itself. Rudy's good news. If you still have 25% of your liver left, it can still regenerate to normal. Rudy's good news. So we need to consistently test for liver function. But the liver is pretty quiet, so we don't catch it a lot of times. If caught early enough is the point. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, fatty liver, hepatitis A, B, and C can be reversed with proper intervention. The liver is still the only organ that can regenerate itself. Isn't that wonderful news? And that's the reason we need to test it at least yearly in a fairly healthy person, if not more frequently, because it can be fixed as long as no more than 25% is destroyed. So Rudy's good news, it can return to its original size. Wow. So new blood vessels will form, and this blood flow will continue, and the nutrients will be supply to it, and nutrients will be cleared by it. So liver transplants within the next decade thought to increase tremendously, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is the biggest cause of liver transplants. Between 2004 and 2013, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease has advanced, and now it's called NASH, non-alcoholic. And NASH is due to inflammation and cannot be reversed. So we want to avoid NASH. Many people with NASH die from hypertension, liver failure, hepatocellular cancer, but we want to avoid these things, okay? Some liver conditions can't be reversed. What are those? Liver cancer, cirrhosis, acute liver failure, genetic liver disorders cannot be reversed. So we want to avoid getting these conditions, and some you can't help. So severe cirrhosis, the only option is the transplant. So we want to avoid cirrhosis, scarring of the liver. So tremendous burden. State of your health. And if you do need a transplant, it's what you want to avoid. But liver disease, a lot of time, is silent. So unless you're checking enzymatic blood tests and catch it very early, you don't know what's going on. It doesn't have many red flags telling you the liver is not working right, okay? So the reason you don't want a transplant is costly. The odds of finding a suitable match, you have to match the genetic structure, is rare. Lifelong medication, you have to be in lifelong medications, steroids, and the risk of kidney problems are 27%. Right now, 16,000 are on the waiting list. So you want to avoid reverse liver disease. So silent symptoms potentially with devastating outcomes. They may have very few symptoms. We are blissfully unaware of the harm we may be doing to our liver. We may be harming it tremendously. We may be drinking a little bit, eating the wrong food, poor lifestyle, not exercising, until the damage becomes extreme and impossible to ignore. Then we get the symptoms, but then your disease is already far advanced, okay? So if fatty deposits build up, inflammation and scarring tissue build up, and severe disease is occurring. Yet the public is largely unaware of this condition. What I hope to teach you today is to test early, yearly at least, for liver disease. You may have no symptoms of it and feel you definitely don't have it, but a certain test you can do that give you a clue. And so there's no clear correlation between a person's behavior. Aside from drinking excess, you can tell there that they're drinking too much alcohol, they probably get liver disease. By contrast, overeating, too little physical activity can have obvious effects on your waistline and aspect of your health, and you have a clue. But I'd like to tell you that everyone who's diabetic, for example, is overweight. 30% of the diabetics are of normal weight. You get a test for them with serum insulins and check the liver. So look at early signs, habits, blood tests and habits, and imaging tests can reveal it. The liver is like Cinderella. it does their work. Cinderella did their work, but we pay very little attention to her. That's the way we treat liver disease. You need the liver. Without the liver, you live a day or two. Yes. And we discussed before the anatomy. It's like a triangle. It reaches almost to the other side. It has a right lobe and a left lobe. Okay? And the latest sign of killers are non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which then can advance to NASH, where it may have inflammation. You may be too late. More prevalent threats is alcohol, but what we're seeing more frequently now is some deposits of fat in the liver, which causing major damage. And so that involves fat accumulation and inflammation. That's the NASH. Damage to the liver related to lifestyle factors, but not excess drinking. It's more from overeating and eating the wrong food. In addition, one can develop inflammation with a virus, hepatitis A, B, and C. They can also cause liver disease. Most patients don't know that they have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. But our area, 50 to 80%, have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, but they're not aware of it because they haven't had the test. So the liver normally has some fat, 5-10%, has no significance. But a good test you can use as an ultrasound or a CT scan or an MRI, but some of those are clearly more costly than others. And non-alcoholic fatty liver disease may be asymptomatic, occasionally a little fatigue, slow. The leading cause of diabetes and chronic disease is chronic liver disease. Yes. Isn't that interesting? So non-alcoholic fatty liver disease can turn into NASH. If you develop inflammation, it's a lot worse. And if you don't reverse it, then you have a significant problem. 30% of the U.S. now is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. If there's a little bit of fat in the pancreas too, you probably are diabetic. So 6 million children have NASH, it's known. They just have been tested to show it. What we need. So 10% of NASH is related to cirrhosis. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease has doubled among children. So obesity rates in the U.S. worldwide have skyrocketed in recent decades. That explains why we have so much non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. The liver is a complex organ. It plays a critical role in metabolism of fats, proteins, carbohydrates. Fats are the trickiest macro to handle because it needs to metabolize, store, process, and package fat into lipoproteins, and that can be delivered to cells throughout the body. So the liver has got a job. Although a healthy liver can handle dietary fat without a problem, but the same is not true of a diseased liver. The real culprit behind non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is insulin resistance. Insulin builds up triglycerides, which are an impending risk factor. The next generation of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in children, so liver is still developing in children. it can't get rid of the fat in the liver because the liver is still developing. Now children are seen as early as age 2 with severe liver disease. Yeah. They see NASH, the advancing, as early as age 8. Obese children in Minnesota, California, San Diego, 20% of 17-year-olds have a fatty liver. And autopsy studies in 2006 indicate 742 children died from unnatural causes. Then we checked them, and 10% had fat in the liver. Let's talk a little bit about cirrhosis. Before we get to that, though, a little bit, smoking, 18% is a leading cause of preventable disease. Okay, medications can cause liver damage. A lot of people are taking a lot of medicines. I take only vitamin M, music. So, but most people are on 5 or 8 medications, and the liver has to detoxify them. So the liver distress signal vague until the conditions become fairly severe. You can have liver disease and not know it, and be in an advanced stage. Remember, you want to know through tests because you can reverse it. Really, it's good news. So, what are other signs? The skin or the eyes are yellow, a warning jaundice building up, bilirubin in the blood. Some liver diseases include cirrhosis, liver cancer. Most liver disorders, including non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, don't have noteworthy signs. We don't know that's what's going on. So you need to do some enzyme tests, and I'll tell you about those. So very few tests will unmistakably tell you you have a liver problem, okay? And until it becomes fairly advanced. More common symptoms of other liver disorders are overly sensitive skin. Okay, that's interesting. Stool changes, dark urine, a paler stool, abdominal tenderness, swelling, loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, unexplained weight loss, tendency to bruise easily, fluid retention in the legs, ankles, feet, pain in the upper abdomen, patchy dark skin, discoloration, acanthosis nigricans of the neck or underarm, especially in children, indicate liver disease. As it advances, mental confusion may occur. Okay. So the tests to gauge liver tests, and this is very important because I want you to have these done at least yearly, even if you have no problem. These include liver enzymes ALT and AST. They are made by the liver. If they're abnormal, clearly indicates liver disease. Reliable indicators of liver cell injury, helpful recognizing liver disease, such as hepatitis, AST, it could be elevated. Normal levels are 10 to 40. ALT, remember, another liver enzyme clearly indicating liver problems, 7 to 56 per liter. Okay, you should have those done every year, no matter who you are, just to be sure you don't have silent liver disease. So concern increases as those become elevated. It's important to catch liver problems in early stages. It's as important as getting your serum insulin, which can be elevated 10 to 15 years before ever your blood sugar goes up. So it's an early sign of diabetes. But elevated ALT can be early signs of liver disease. They should be done automatically, routine. Every year you get those done. Get a serum insulin, which is the king of tests, but liver tests share its position, maybe call it the queen. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease need to be ruled out. Okay, depending on finding, you can do it also using ultrasound, CT, or MRI, may be used to look for fatty deposits, scarring or damage to the liver. Okay, ultrasound uses sound waves as an effective way, it's the cheapest. Okay, and MRI provides the most accurate diagnosis of the liver and pancreas. So MRI is the most accurate test, but it's also the most expensive. So ultrasound it can be extremely effective. And ultrasound indicates the best job of diagnosis gallbladder disease. CT and MRI are best at kidney disease because the liver disease and kidney disease can occur together. But ultrasound is at least expensive. And the things you can do to reverse the problem, eat less junk food, don't smoke, avoid alcohol, exercise, make a plan, delegate activities, regular relaxation, play pickleball like me. No, it takes special balance, so I didn't say that. Maybe take a walk, that'd be good enough. Anxiety can increase blood flow through the liver. So mind your medicines. How many pills are you taking? Maybe you could take less. And maybe you can do some preventing. You don't need them, and don't give work for the liver. Maintain a healthy weight is important. Key blood tests, remember I mentioned to you, ALT and AST should be part of your annual blood work. They are made only by the liver. GGT is another one that's fairly good. ALT, AST, GGT importance. So if following disorders are ruled out: alcohol abuse, drug side effects, hepatitis B and C, autoimmune hepatitis, chromatitis, Wilson's disease, which are more common. So ALT and AST may be recommended yearly to be a sticker for good hygiene, good habits. Get the right vaccines. Some vaccines are necessary, but some vaccines cannot be tolerated by children with liver disease. Exercise is important. So you can show some love to the liver. So cirrhosis is the most prevalent chronic liver disease. Scarring of the liver, it reflects ongoing process of chronic liver damage, usually not discovered until it has significantly progressed. You want to avoid it because you can't reverse it. If you need a microscope to look at hepatocytes, to look at the cells themselves, you need a microscope. The cells of the liver, you would see significant amount of scarring in those cells. More scarring, more damage. Cirrhosis usually is not reversible. Heavy drinking produces it. It can be seen with hepatitis B and C. Again, we mentioned liver function test may indicate you have cirrhosis, but a normal liver function test. Albumin is a protein in the blood. If it's under 4, may indicate liver disease, but also it can be seen with kidney disease, so it's not a absolute test like ALT. This level indicates an illness in the body, but kidney disease can do it too. And let's review liver tests a little bit again. ALK, alkaline phosphatase, can be elevated in some liver diseases, but gallstones can do it too. So it's an indicator. ALT and AST are enzymes specific to the liver. You need to get those yearly just to see if you have silent liver disease. A total bilirubin is part of a basic metabolic panel. CO2 20 to 24, decreased value, can be acidosis, which can be seen with liver disease. Seen in advanced liver disease, liver regulates acid-base balance, and the liver produces bicarbonates to calm it down. Complete CBC is important. GGT is an enzyme specific to the liver and has to do a lot with blood clotting. So that's an important test. So the ALT, AST, and the GGT should be yearly in spite of you thinking, I don't have any liver disease. You need to get those. That total protein of the blood is important because if you have cirrhosis, you can't make protein, and it'll be elevated. A uric acid taste can be caught because it's a breakdown product of purine, and you can have gout. And gout is something you like to avoid. It's a swollen, infected big toe, very painful. Everyday toxins, other surprising dangers from modern life will affect the kidney. We live in a toxic world. Chemicals in the air, in the water, antibiotics in meat. The liver does a masterful job, and you need it. And now that I've told you how to test for it early, yearly, in spite of having no symptoms, is very important. Levels of mercury associated with increased liver disease, increased levels of lead, but these are all around us in the world. Typical household toxins are pesticides, plastics, water bottles. So you have to eliminate the risk. Dry out your cleaning, hang up when they come back from the cleaner. Don't be fooled by organic labels. So show your liver some love. Basic steps and strategies. Limit your alcohol, okay? Remember, that's pretty obvious. No matter what you're eating or drinking, alcohol heads for the liver first. You just, and if you drink, probably the answer there is no alcohol. I used to think drinking a glass or two or three of wine a week is fine, but they're starting to show now that really is not correct. Okay. Quality sleep is important, that you sleep on a regular basis. Getting a good grip on stress. Many of us are stressed, including myself. Getting ready for a TV show may cause me some stress. I have some difficulty sleeping because of stress. I found as a neurosurgeon that 70% of the people I was seeing in my office, due to stress, they'd come and tell me their neck was hurting, and they'd show me the x-ray. Suppose you take an x-ray of my neck, I have no neck pain, but I'm 89 years old. It's going to be a long x-ray report. Is that the cause of my neck pain? I learned myself, after reading many books and seeing many patients, that the hormones in our body can affect a whole nervous system. And the best thing to have said to the patient with neck pain would be, what's going on in your life? Well, my husband left me. I got 3 kids. I lost my job. And yes, I understood that this was attached to the human body through hormones, nervous system. Yes, it's not just your x-ray. Matter of fact, I wrote books on that, yes. Placebo effect. If I told you drinking a glass of water would relieve a lot of your symptoms, it probably would. But what's a nocebo? I never speak to a doctor or hardly anybody that knows what the word means, nocebo. That's the opposite of placebo. So I wrote a book, it's on Amazon, Nocebo, Placebo's Evil Twin. I recommend maybe you go to the library or buy this cheap book and take it maybe 2 nights to read it, because the nocebos are used in medicine a great deal. Yes, they'll show you the x-ray and say, oh, we got to deal with this, when in reality it may have been the food you were eating, how you were treating your liver. Stress accounts for 70% of the reasons people go see a medical provider. I was so impressed with that, I put an auditorium in Lutheran Hospital in town in Fort Wayne, Indiana, just for other doctors to come in and teach their patients about stress, what food to eat, what exercise to do. You know what happened? Hardly any of them showed up. I showed up once a month and gave a lecture, and the audience was usually full. So I'm spreading the word. And to show the liver some love, get the proper blood test, good hygiene, getting the right vaccines, and make sure if the child that they have a good lifestyle, or the vaccine may harm them. Limit your alcohol intake, although I highly recommend, get all the vaccines. Because when you read the books of history of viruses around the world, you need to get vaccinated. The National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism it talks about the number of drinks a person can have. Women handle alcohol less well, but I would say to you, the best course, don't drink at all. Don't drink at all. And the moderate drinking or regulating the amount of alcohol that you're consuming, I think I wouldn't drink at all. That I think is the best thing. I was reading a book called The Blue Zones, and what behaviors people can do to live a long life. And I read the whole book, and it concentrated mainly on 4 areas. And to me, these are different people. They drink quite a bit of alcohol to relax, but alcohol is not good for you. Sleep disorders, the liver is dependent on it to relax. Get a grip on stress. Letting stress get the upper arm can make you especially vulnerable to a variety of liver diseases. Cause you to drink alcohol, eat more sugar to make yourself feel good, and that can cause widespread inflammation throughout your body, and that is something you can avoid. I put a book up there called Skinny Liver: Eliminate Everyday Toxins, Avoid Diabetes, Heart Disease, Excess Weight. Remember type 2 diabetes is largely a lifestyle disease. By avoiding sugar, and you can be overweight, you're more likely to have these, because they can indicate 80% of people overweight have abnormal heart disease, Alzheimer's disease, amputations, dislocations, which all can be avoided. But the thing that other people don't know is that 30% of the thin people are diabetic too. They never had the right test. So even if you're thin, get a serum insulin test to see if that is elevated. Jason Fung wrote a great book. He also has YouTube shows. In his book, what he's saying is that serum insulin elevated 10 to 15 years before your blood sugar ever goes up. But in that 15-year period where the insulin level is up, diseases are occurring in your body. They learned that when the Vietnamese soldiers died, Korean soldiers died, American soldiers died. The ones they autopsied found the Americans had advanced diseases, and the Koreans and the Vietnamese didn't have those. And what I'm saying to you, to summarize things a little bit, is that I think it's very important to even start at a young age. I'm talking about age 3 or 4, that we check our kids with serum insulins, and also that we checked their liver enzymes, the ALT, the AST, and the GTT, and keep it in a computer or in a logbook. And in Europe, what they do, they take all your life statistics from the day you're born, all your life. They collect your health information and put it into a computer. So you can go anywhere in the country, see any doctor at any age, and find out how you're doing. If you were recording, for example, your liver test, this is our main subject today, and your serum insulin, you would really be way ahead. And I beg you to do that. And I recommend this book. You can buy it or probably get it online from Amazon. Look for used copies, they're usually real cheap, and read more about the liver, the skinny liver here. A very good book to read. And there are many other books about the liver, but I don't think we talk about it enough. That is part of our routine yearly testing. But I think now that I've explained to you all the things the liver does, and the most wonderful news is that if you still got 25% of your liver left, that it can regenerate itself back to a normal size and to a normal function. Isn't this wonderful news? I call it Rudy's good news. But thank you so much for watching our show. And you can also go, incidentally, to YouTube and then spell it. Don't say it. Kachmann. You wouldn't believe it, but I've got about 1,000 YouTube shows on there that you could watch them and learn more. And even this show today or ones in the future, that you can watch them again. They're on YouTube, and now I'm doing podcasts too, called Look Good, Disease Free. It's a podcast, gives you more information. And if you watch these YouTube shows, half hours on diabetes, 1 hour on what subject that I happen to pick, and this time it was liver disease. I suggest you watch it a couple of times because these things will result in you having a long life so that you can play pickleball with me. I'm 89 and play at the Ace 3 days a week, take a walk, tap dance, take singing lessons. And thank you so much for watching this show with us today.